We're a little early. We're just trying to get all of our stuff set up and everything. Just give us a little bit of time to let some people join in, and so that we can tell you about all the new jazzy stuff that we are working on right now. So, one thing that y'all would notice is that we changed our Facebook name.
Yep.
Red, why we changed our Facebook name?
Well, because we're really more than just Texas history. That we're trying to create a overall history channel similar to like a channel on TV where it has different shows. So Texas Historic Tales is just one show that we will be creating. We have the Bill and Red Show, and also there is the Possum Tale podcast that we're in the process of creating.
Yes, so Possum Tales is going to be our podcast. We'll also be putting out a video of us doing the podcast. But the podcast will be called Possum Tales. We've already recorded a couple episodes of that, and those will start coming out this week. We're still doing Texas Historic Tales, but we kind of wanted to merge all our stuff into one Facebook page where we can talk about all history and we can talk about our different things that we are doing.
Right. And then on YouTube, it'll be compartmentalized in the different files. So there'll be a Texas history file, there'll be a live broadcast file. We'll rebroadcast the lives, and then so on and so forth. So as we create other things, we'll have different files.
I'm sure we're going to get in that there. Okay. Hey Lois, thank you for joining in, and all our friends in Minnesota. I hope I said that correctly.
She'll teach us yet.
Kelly, thank you for joining in. We'll get started here shortly.
Woohoo! All right.
Hold on. You just have to do that.
No, I just muted it.
There we go. Now if we can just get the...
So now we can see what we're looking at.
So, I guess, let's give everyone... It is 7 o'clock. You want to give them a couple more minutes?
Yeah. I hope everybody's had an awesome week.
We've had a great week of filming.
Yeah.
That was quite interesting. We did, like I said, our podcast this weekend already. We got that already.
We've recorded the video for Tuesday. It's going to be epic, man.
I hope it is. I'm not really... I'm kind of out there on it. But other than that, I think we're doing pretty good.
And I spent most of the morning looking up some good questions.
This girl thinks she's going to beat me. She's going to stump me.
Yeah, I am.
She probably will. The thing about it is that we're doing this for fun. The second thing about it is that she mostly covers one type of history. I cover a whole different type of history, and that's what makes it fun, is that we can merge those together.
Yeah, we both have our expertise, and then we also have common interest in,
Yeah, I mean, we do. And back to what we were saying earlier about changing our name and stuff, we wanted more of a larger platform, but we're not giving up on Texas Historic Tales.
Nope.
And we're not giving up on Possum Tales.
Nope.
We're not giving up on Becca's Planet. And
W3.
W3, we're still doing that. And the Feral 5 and the Vanessa Connection. There's a lot of them out there. But these are the ones that involve the two of us. So, if you're ready, I'm ready. Who wants to go first? Anyone got a suggestion who should start off, since y'all are on?
Yeah, and if you've just jumped on, be sure to leave us a comment.
Let
us know that you're here.
We're kind of getting the studio thing figured out pretty good. Now we've got a monitor where I can actually read your comments
up
above
can't
me.
Just turn.
And so,
we're actually in a working garage.
Yes.
With lighting, a big screen TV, and cameras. It's a hodgepodge of stuff. You would be like, what is going on in here?
Exactly. All right, so Lois says that I should go first. So if I'm going to go first, I will ask you the first question, and that is going to be, what was Napoleon Bonaparte's greatest loss in a battle or a scrimmage?
In a scrimmage?
Or along those lines.
You know, greatest loss, I would say it would be the loss of his freedom, being sent to an island, you know, when he lost all of the whole battles and all of that, and when he was captured. But the battle that he lost, Waterloo?
Waterloo would be a good answer, and actually that was the answer I was thinking of too. But doing the back research and everything, and I found Napoleon himself said that his biggest loss was against 3,000 bunnies. So I'm going to tell you the story about this. So Napoleon Bonaparte and his leader or his generals.
So he's a great general, but
he's afraid of bunnies.
Hunting.
So they're going to set up this large hunting trip. He gets 3,000 rabbits caged up. They put them out on the other side of the field and release the rabbits. So instead of the rabbits running so that everyone can take pop shots at the rabbits with their dogs and everything, the rabbits, on the other hand, decide to gang up and run straight towards them, which scares the hell out of them, and they all take off running. Not a single rabbit was harmed. That puts it in your spot, Red. You go with your question towards me.
Okay, so my question isn't about rabbits. Okay, so I started off with a story to see if you could figure out what time in history that I'm referring to.
Okay.
Okay, so in 1776 there was somebody who decided that he wanted to unofficially help the patriots of the American Revolution.
Okay.
All right. And he did very well at expanding this help and doing very well until 1779.
All right.
Where his country jumped into the war. All right. But before then, he was secretly preparing for the eventuality of jumping in the war. As soon as his country declared war against England, of all people, not the Americans,
right.
but England,
right.
He was already prepared, and he ran off and laid siege against Fort Butte.
The French.
You think the French?
I think the French.
Okay.
The French.
The French.
Yes, the
Okay.
French.
So,
I'm going to go with the French.
So do you want me to continue with this, or is the French going to be your last answer? So y'all let me know.
I'm going to go with the French. Go with the French.
Okay,
Let's go with the French. But you continue because
Okay.
I'm sure that
Okay.
I'm missing something here.
Okay, so he lays siege on Fort Butte, which is just outside of Baton Rouge.
Right, right.
He wins Baton Rouge and is given Natchez.
Okay.
You know, they
I'm
were
still
like,
sticking with the French.
you're still sticking with the French.
Still sticking with the French.
Okay, after that, he goes to Fort Mobile and defeats Fort Mobile. And then hits Pensacola.
All right, I lost that one.
You lost that one?
I lost
have
that
you
one.
guessed who it is yet?
Nope, but I lost that one because it was the French. That was definitely not the French.
It wasn't the French. It was the Spanish.
Really?
Spain. Yes, General Bernardo de Galvez.
Ah!
Yeah.
Jeez.
So, and after he won Pensacola, so he has basically gathered in one fell swoop most of the Gulf Coast.
That makes sense. Galvez
Yes.
was a badass.
Yeah, and he received the title of what would be considered Baron from the Spanish king after he conquered Pensacola.
All right, I'd say we're 1-1.
I got you.
I'd say we're 1-1.
Yeah.
All right.
Okay.
Okay, so we all know about President Lincoln. All right?
Do we?
Dewey. President Lincoln. So, besides being the President of the United States,
Okay.
being 6'4",
Okay.
all right, what other astounding
You would make
facts?
a great President Lincoln.
I probably
you need
would.
to grow your beard. Just
Full score and 7 years ago. Off. Oh, sorry. What other accomplishments did President Lincoln do before he was in office as president?
He built a rail fence.
Okay.
He was a lawyer and he worked on bridge contracts. Did he not?
Okay.
Am I thinking of the right person?
Continue.
Okay. That's
it?
That's what I got.
All right. I'm going to say...
Something to do with the bridge.
I'm going to say this is going to be a win for me because President Lincoln, not only was he a bartender, but he owned an establishment in Illinois. All right. Besides that, President Lincoln, he is also in the Wrestling Hall of Fame. He is 301. 300-1. He lost one match out of 301 matches.
Are you kidding?
And is in the Wrestling Hall of Fame. And on top of that, he was a bartender, and all the way up to 1833, he was a bartender and owned his own tavern in New Salem, Illinois. I think that's 2.
I'm going to have
1.
to double check that. I don't know. That sounds kind of fishy.
Fishy. Are they going to lead us into our next one? You're up next, girl.
No, fish aren't going to lead us into the next one. Okay, so we're going to continue on the theme of this of the American Revolution.
American Revolution. All right.
So you got that thought?
Got that thought.
Okay, so what happened today, October 17th, 1777? And it has to do with the American Revolution.
I don't know, right?
You don't know?
I have no idea. I mean, there was a couple of battles, and scrimmages, but I don't know where you're going with it. So continue.
Okay, General Burgoyne.
Okay.
And General Burgoyne is on the English side, so he is.
He's a redcoat.
Yeah, he's our foe at this point. General Burgoyne surrenders with 5,000 British and Hessian troops at the Battle of Saratoga. This would be I do believe it's the first Battle of Saratoga. It is
the first Battle of Saratoga.
Yes.
1777.
And the troops that surrendered, they were eventually named the Conventioners. Which
I agree with you, Kelly.
What's that?
Continue.
I got a half point for what?
Continue.
Oh, okay. So the Conventioners, they were labeled this as POWs until King George decided that he was going to exchange prisoners because that was terms of surrender.
Is that when Mel Gibson comes in and he's like, "Hey, I've got 5 of your officers out here"?
Maybe it might be, but they would not be able to receive. The British would not be able to take their officers.
Mel Gibson wasn't alive then.
Isn't Mel Gibson in the Patriot?
That is a fictional story, Brad.
Yeah, but you're talking about the Patriot.
That's a fictional story, Brad.
Oh, good grief.
Continue.
All right.
It's a good story, but it's a fictional story.
Okay, so with these Conventioners,
Okay.
They could not make exchange because if they exchanged the prisoners, then King George would be acknowledging that the United States of America was a sovereign country. So it was like,
it's all in words.
Good move for the Continental Congress. We spent a buttload of money housing these POWs, but it was well worth it in the end because we kept trying to force the king to play that hand.
All right, so good one. Very good one. Going along with that, we all know what July 4th is, right? July 4th, 1776, what were we taught in school? Boys, girls, red?
Independence Day.
Independence Day. And that, my friends, is...
That's where the spaceships come down.
False! It is false. Independence Day is actually July 2nd. July 2nd, the ratification was drawn up at Independence Hall in Pennsylvania. Now, here's where it gets tricky. the Patriots and the signers of the Declaration of Independence actually didn't sign the Declaration of Independence. The last signature did not come until late August on the Declaration of Independence. So we decided that July 4th would be celebrated, and I will tell you all that in another question later on.
So who was the last one to sign it? Or is that going to be one of the other questions?
That would be Hancock.
Oh, really?
Big Hancock. He was the last one to sign August 15th, I think it was.
So is that why he signed it so big, is to take up the rest of the paper?
He was just an asshole. Hancock. Hey, see? Rachel got it. I told you. You answered it right with me. Thank you, Rachel. I do appreciate that. All right, so...
Oh, and Rachel says July 3rd.
Well, July 2nd, it was ratified. July 3rd, it was written down. It didn't get signed because everyone was like, oh, it's Thursday. Let's have a long weekend. And they were like, oh, okay. And they took off. And it actually does not get completely signed by all the Patriots until August 15th. And it was John Hancock. Good job, Rachel.
Yay!
That's our school teacher right there. She's doing great. All right, it's your turn, Red.
So, we all know that Ben Franklin was a great experimenter and inventor, right?
Yep.
That was for his time. But there is another great inventor that died October 18th, 1931. Do we have any clue who it would be?
Would that be Nikola Tesla?
No, but he's connected to Nikola Tesla.
Edison?
Edison, that's right. Thomas Edison, he held 1,093 patents.
Yeah, and he stole 1,091 patents.
Well, I wasn't going to get into that today.
That's Ted's point. He's just like Mr. Henry Ford.
Uh-huh.
They put a bunch of brilliant men around them and were like, oh, really? Oh, that's nice.
Well, and Edison gets the credit for, power and stuff like that.
Talking about Edison, he did.
He had the money backing him, and Tesla did not.
Talking about Edison, he did not actually invent the light bulb.
No, I didn't.
Yeah, well, I'm not going to get into that because that was not one of my questions. But that makes it into my ball game.
But I'm not done.
Oh, my goodness.
Yeah.
All right, go ahead.
Okay, so one of the inventions of Edison, of course, we've heard of the phonograph and the light bulb, but you might not have known that he did the motion picture.
Yeah, I knew that. It was a horse
camp.
running, and it was the first time that they got to see a horse with all four legs leave the ground, and it was big. Oh, my gosh.
It's magic!
Yeah, it was a rotating picture, still frame pictures of a horse with a little candle in there, and they'd spin the hell out of it and be like, and the horse would go, or like, and then that's how they got done.
Well, did you know that one of the first footage of, from Edison's camera was actually of the carnage of the 1900 storm?
Yes, I did.
Out of Galveston.
I did, most certainly.
And did you know that you could actually see that footage on the Library of Congress website? And I looked it up for us, and I will put it in the comment section. He was a thieving businessman, yes. He had the right people behind him.
He did the same thing Henry Ford ended up doing.
Yeah.
And he got the right people beside him, and he used their minds in order to. What are you doing?
I'm grabbing the link for the.
So, anyways, excuse me.
You going girl again?
Yeah, I was going girl again. Yes, that's right. Kelly was a great businessman. And she just posted the link. So we're getting better at this, guys. We're getting better at this. So back to my question here.
Okay.
And
what does that lead from mine?
No, it actually leads from my previous question.
Okay. All right.
And why do we celebrate July 4th as Independence Day?
Because that's what Congress labeled July 4th as.
False.
Really?
Very false. So, you want me to tell you?
Yeah.
All right. So, In 1826, the last two signers of the Declaration of Independence died the same day, July 4th, 1826, 5 hours apart from each other, 3 states away from each other, and that would be John Adams and Thomas Jefferson. Them dying on July 4th, the president made it official that American independence, I almost said Texas independence. That's because I do so many different things. But American Independence Day would be celebrated on July 4th because the last two signers of the Declaration of Independence died 1826, July 4th, 5 hours apart, and that would have been John Adams and Thomas Jefferson.
So it was a president declaration and not from
Correct.
Congress.
Correct.
So is it considered?
Oh, don't worry. I'm going to screw up a bunch of holidays here tonight.
Is it still considered, I don't know, a legal federal holiday?
It is. It is. And it's because of the fact that, as Rachel said, the signing happened so close to the day,
Okay.
or the drawing of the paper
Okay.
happened so close to the day. All right. And these are the founding fathers, which were both presidents of the United States.
Okay.
Also, it's our Independence Day.
So technically, it's really just another President's Day.
Technically, it is just another President's Day, but in reality, that is American Independence Day. That is what our history books teach our children, is that July 4th, 1776, in Independence Hall, we ratified, we signed, and the Declaration of Independence was put through.
Well, I guess that would be like the same for just about all of our major holidays, you know, like Christmas, Thanksgiving.
Oh, we're going to blow those out of the way
Columbus
in a
Day.
minute.
You know, okay, I'll keep my mouth
So-
shut. I'll shut my mouth.
All right. I'm not keeping score at this point, so hopefully someone else
So
is.
that was what? 5 for me and 1 for you?
Yeah, whatever you got to tell yourself to get through the night.
Hey, I'm doing extremely good. All right.
You're doing awesome.
Okay, so you had mentioned Texas independent, or you know, the Texas independence.
Yes.
The Texas Revolution.
Right.
So this next one happens to deal with Texas history. What happened on this day in 1835? And it would be October 17th. So what happened in October 17th, 1835? It'd be something very close to your heart.
Was it the first battle of Gonzales? No, Goliad. Gonzales.
No.
Gonzales.
No, the first battle of Gonzales, that
That
was
was
the
October
second.
2nd.
Yes.
Right.
Don't you remember that video?
Yeah. I did just make a video on that, guys.
Woo, dinner's here.
I'm bickering. I will remember that. All right, Red, hit me.
All right, that was the creation of the Texas Rangers.
Oh, by Stephen F. Austin.
No.
But then you're wrong. The actual Texas Rangers was developed here in Brazoria County in East Columbia, and that was in 1824. And they were called the Rangers, and it was done by Stephen F. Austin. I covered that in another episode. So you were wrong. Sorry about that.
All right, so what part of the country,
All right.
what part of the country did they cover?
They covered all of the state of Tejas, which is...
You're wrong!
And
They covered between the Brazos River and the Trinity River. They didn't
so
cover...
they covered the English settlements of it, is what
Yes.
you're saying?
Yeah.
I'd have to see that because I think you're wrong on that
You
one.
think?
I'm pretty damn sure you're wrong on that.
Ooh, okay,
Matter
so
of
we're
fact,
going to have to do a...
Hold on 1 second.
Where are you going?
I am going to this book right here.
They can't see it yet. Oh,
Can you see that right there? All right. Yes, it says my aunt's name and address of where we used to live. But if you read this book, she's wrong.
okay, so that sounds like that
You
would
see
be...
that? You see that?
The Line of Duty by Riggers in...
The Reflection of a Texas Ranger Private. And this covers the whole history of the Texas Rangers.
Okay, is it sourced?
It is.
Okay. All right, so I guess...
We're going to call that
Yeah, we'll call that a draw, and maybe we'll do a video on the Texas Rangers.
All right, sounds good.
That way we can.
Oh, and I look good dressed up as a Texas Ranger. Y'all haven't seen it yet, but man, actually, I wasn't a Texas Ranger, but I was.
Yeah.
Yeah, whatever.
That was the Spanish governor that you were supposed to be
with a Ranger badge.
Oh yeah. A man
as you see, right back there is my Ranger badge.
In cowboy boots, in a suit. Holy moly!
Anyways. Alright, we getting off from chicken fighting to pig skinning?
Pig skinning.
Pig skinning. Alright, here we go. Alright, let's talk about Thanksgiving.
Okay.
We're in October.
How does that have to do with pig skinning? Because that's turkeys, right?
November is coming upon us, and our next major fiasco holiday will be in November, and it was Thanksgiving. Do you believe, Red, that Thanksgiving was celebrated the way that the Pilgrims and our school system taught us that it was?
No. That's just a cleaned up version so they can make paper bag vests and wear pilgrim hats.
So, do you know about when the first Thanksgiving happened?
No.
No. All right. So the first Thanksgiving happens in 1621, and I'm about to prove myself wrong on this one. Okay, 1621, Thanksgiving was actually started by the Pilgrims, and it was a 3-day fast.
Read the Plymouth Plantation. So Rachel is telling us to
I see
read the Plymouth
Plantation.
After... Well, I'm saying it for the video.
They can read it. They can read it live.
But future recordings on YouTube will not be able to read the live. So if we put this on YouTube. So leave me alone.
In 1621, the Pilgrims at Plymouth Rock, they did celebrate Thanksgiving, but it was a 3-day fast. And fasting is not feasting. The only thing that they ever did share with the Indians and the Native Americans, as we like to call them, would be plagues, pestilence, violence, and murder. They never shared a meal with them. Matter of fact, they were out to destroy and conquer them. Number 4 on this wonderful thing, there was 150. Hold on.
Okay.
There was 150 people involved in this 3-day fast. It wasn't all the members of the Plymouth community, and on top of that, it was not the first Thanksgiving in North America. The first Thanksgiving in North America actually happens in Canada, and it is more like what we celebrate today, a feast. A coming together of people, bringing that stuff together and stuff. And that happened in 1578 in Alberta, Canada. And they celebrated because they were so glad to finally touch dry land after being at sea for 5 months that they did so.
No, Black Friday, Kelly.
Hold on, Kelly. I'm not done, Kelly. Don't jump ahead of me here, buddy. All right. So it wasn't until Macy's, the store Macy's, all right?
Okay.
Macy's decided that, hey, Sears and Roebuck's is kicking our butts, all right? They're beating us out constantly. They're our biggest competition. So Macy's decided to make a big deal about it, do the whole turkeys and the whole festivities, went so far as to doing a parade through New York City and to promote that. They're also the first business to celebrate Black Friday, which was the very next day. Thank you, Kelly. So Thanksgiving didn't actually come around until the 20th century as what we know it is today, where people were brought together. You feast, you gorge yourself upon stuff, things like that. Before that, it was actually a fasting time to remember the times that we did not have food in the openings and the beginnings of the Americas.
That would make more sense, but I'm kind of hurt that you're saying that Pocahontas didn't show them how to plant corn in the middle of winter.
No, if they showed Pocahontas anything, it was plagues, pestilence, murder, death, destruction, violence. They weren't nice. They were. Who settled in Plymouth? Damn it, Ramp!
The Puritans or the separatists?
It's a separatist. Rachel, separatist.
So are we right?
You're gonna have to text faster. Oh, the original mascot was going to be a turkey. And that was put into play by Ben Franklin. He didn't want an eagle. He thought an eagle was a crap bird, but a turkey. And it was actually a bourbon red turkey.
I'm glad we stuck with the eagle.
No, why? Bourbon red's got the big fans. They're like...
But yeah, but the eagle...
America! Exactly. See? Oh, man, look at that. Boom, boom, boom. Do those count for me? Do those count for me?
Those are extra credit.
Man, it's getting hot up in here. All right, Red, you want to continue with this?
Okay. All right, you ain't going to get this.
All right, I won't get this. Thank you, Red. Thank you, Kelly. Thank you, Rachel.
All right. So what was the name of the last slave ship? And I'm referring to slave ship like coming from, bringing Africans over. What was the last name of the last slave ship, and who was it brought by?
Was it the SS Minnow?
The SS Minnow? No.
Wow.
All right, this is it.
They look like slaves. I'm just kidding. And Mobile. No, that's false, Rachel. I covered that last week. We actually know where the last two graves were. But yeah, that's
the slave ship? She's referring to the slave ship.
Yeah, in Mobile, and we covered that last week, Rachel.
Rachel! Yes!
And
I will redeem you, Rachel.
We debunked that already.
Rachel's right.
Rachel might be right, but that is debunked because the last slave ship actually lands in the coast of South America in 1890, which is well after the War of Northern Aggression. It's well after all that stuff. It's still the Americas, and it's still this continent. So if you want to go by what is on the USA.
I said U.S. See?
Oh, the USA.
Right,
sorry.
Yeah. Okay.
But the last slave ship doesn't. Go ahead.
The Cameron.
All right.
Are you done?
I'm done.
Okay. All right. So it's the Clotilda. And the Clotilda was captained by William Foster and was in agreement with Timothy Mayer.
Yeah.
Okay. It arrives in Mobile Bay, just outside of Mobile, in July of 1860. They were caught when a good old captain decided that he was going to sail up the river and set his ship on fire. When they came into Mobile Bay, they dumped most of the slaves off at Magazine Point, just outside of Mobile. Yep. And one of the interesting stories, it has a personal flair to it, is that my husband, Kelly, that's in the feed, his third great-grandfather sold Timothy Mayer Magazine Point 6 years before this happened.
Pretty interesting.
And another personal note, another interesting tidbit, that this wasn't the only place that it happened. Where I live on Shenango Ranch, or in Shenango, which was, it was an old plantation called Shenango. A guy named Benjamin Smith brought African slaves after Congress said no more African slaves.
Just keep talking.
This 1808 is when Congress said that. But Benjamin Smith brings the slaves over in 1834, and he was caught because he brought the slaves overland from Galveston Bay and lost his way and asked for directions to his own freaking plantation.
And that, if y'all can see, is the picture of them at 92 and 94 years of age.
That would be the
Yep.
last two slaves here in Texas.
Those would be the last two. That's the last ones that she was talking about at the Shenango plantation.
And they do have pictures available for the last surviving slaves of the Clotilda, which is a fascinating story, and that might be something that we cover more in depth. They just found that the Clotilda within the last couple of years, and they've been doing a lot of excavation and research on that topic. But I thought that was very, very cool.
African town in Mobile. That is a...
Yes.
Yeah, I did a paper on that, Rachel. I'm quite familiar with that. It's very interesting. And I do appreciate you joining in with us. So is it my turn?
Yes.
All right, we're going to go back to the American Revolution.
Okay.
All right. So we all know the story about George Washington. He cut down a cherry tree. I can't tell a lie. All right.
Okay.
So, what else do we know about George Washington?
He had false teeth.
He had false teeth. Were they made of wood?
Yes. No? So they're not made of hickory?
All right.
Ooh.
Here we go. So, false teeth during the 1700s were not made of wood at all. Not one bit. What they would do is the fallen soldiers or fallen people, they would actually cut the jawbone and the top plate out of their mouths and the bottom plates. And you would wear them as like partial. So you would actually wear somebody else's skull and teeth in your mouth. George Washington had a set of these, but he didn't wear them regularly. So all the paintings and stuff that you see him, he's like, that's because he doesn't want to show his bad teeth. He had bad teeth. Now, back to the story about him, did he tell a lie? That is also false.
Yeah.
It wasn't until after his death they were writing a biography on him, and in order to tell the way of his character, the man writing the biography on him stated that he did not tell a lie, kind of embellishing to say that the man was very honest and of his word. On top of that, did you know that George Washington also, after leaving the presidency, he started the largest distillery in North America. They produced 11,000 gallons of good old Virginia whiskey in 1 year after his presidency.
Okay.
The distillery burns down, of course, shortly afterwards, but he was one of the founding fathers that started a distillery.
Okay.
So
Well, and
I just threw that one in just because that was kind of cool. Like,
Yeah.
you know, he's a boozer. 11,000 gallons. That's a lot of booze.
It doesn't mean that he's sitting there drinking.
No, but that's still a lot of booze.
Yeah.
So, and I thought it was interesting about the false teeth too.
Well, we all got to drink.
Sometimes. Well, following that one up and staying on the George Washington thing, George Washington, okay, who was the first president in the White House?
Who was the first president?
First president in the White House, Washington, D.C. Who was the first president?
It wasn't Washington. It would have been, what was it? It was the third president, wasn't it, Rachel? But I don't remember.
Why are you asking Rachel? Rachel's not here.
Pull me out. Pull me out.
It would be John Adams.
Okay.
John Adams was the first president, and George Washington is the only president. And I know you might want to correct me on this, because George Washington technically isn't the first president, because he was a general during the American Revolution. We had three presidents prior to that. Whatever. George Washington is our first president. He commissions the White House to be built.
Right.
He doesn't actually live in the White House. John Adams is the first president, and George Washington is the... I'm unloading the dishwasher. So, George
Rachel,
Washington,
you failed me.
George Washington is the actual only president out of the presidents that we claim as United States presidents never to live in the White House.
Okay.
So that was my tell on George Washington.
Okay.
All right. We on? We going further?
All right. Well, yeah. Why not? We've only been going, 40 minutes?
Yeah. We got time.
All right. So, I guess we're not going to damn the torpedoes.
Damn those torpedoes.
All right. Where did the term damn the torpedoes, full speed ahead come from?
I have no idea.
You don't know?
Nope. Don't have an idea.
All right. During the War of Northern Aggression, August 1864, the Union Naval Admiral David Farragut, which when I was researching this, Farragut.
Wasn't he one of the ones that blockaded the Gulf Coast?
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah, he was involved in the Gulf Coast.
I don't know if you heard that. I stepped out of the scene for a second. I was asking, making sure that he was the one that blockaded the Gulf Coast, the serpent, to cut off supplies.
Yes. Okay, so go back to Farragut. I may be saying it wrong. Google is saying it's Farragut, but French.
He does, Vanessa.
The last T in French is normally not pronounced, so it would be Laurent.
Laurent.
Yeah.
Laurent Blanc.
Or Farragut. But it might have been Americanized by then, so it could be Farragut. But anyway.
Farragut?
That's...
Well, I guess so.
Whatever. I would rather go with Farragut if it was my last name. But anyway, he was fighting his way through Mobile Bay because on Mobile Bay there was 2 forts,
Okay.
one on either side of the bay. So he, while he was fighting his way through, he is claimed that he uttered those famous words of "Damn the torpedoes! Full speed ahead!" Are you paying attention?
I am. I'm paying attention.
Okay, but this action did not lead...
I did, James. Thank you. Thank you for calling me out on that. I had a refill, buddy.
Yeah.
Sorry.
But this action did not claim a victory over Mobile itself. Mobile is the one of the only big cities of the southern states that was not captured during the war. It did not surrender until 3 days after the war, but there was a siege. It held on to itself with a siege for 8 months until the end of the war. Though
that kind of ties into what we talked about on our last live episode, where we were talking about the actual last battle.
Yeah.
You know,
Yeah.
You'd have to go back and rewatch that one. Make sure you like it, and don't forget to subscribe.
Yeah, leave comments.
Leave comments.
Yeah, we'll read 'em.
Anyways, sorry, didn't mean to interrupt her.
All right, so even though this city was not destroyed during the war, doesn't mean that it was not damaged. After the surrender, about a month later, a Confederate soldier decided to sabotage the ammunition depot,
And he blew it to hell.
that he blew about a fourth of Mobile up, killing over 300 people.
Yeah, I do remember that story. That is actually in... Excuse me. This book, right here. Secret Missions of the Civil War.
Okay.
It's actually in this book. I want to say page 184 or something. Don't make me count it. Is it my turn?
It's your turn.
It's my turn. Let's stay with the War of Northern Aggression.
Okay.
With this. All right. Did you know, or how should I frame this? Did you know that the first battle and the last were generally signs the surrender happened in the same man's yard?
Yes. and no.
Yes and no.
Okay.
Okay, so I'll tell the story about
All right.
this. Okay, so we all know that the War of Northern Aggression,
It was the same man, but not the same yard.
See, that's where it gets tricky.
Yeah.
All right, so the first battle of the War of Northern Aggression, and if y'all want to know why we call it the War of Northern Aggression, you have to go back to our other videos because we explain that to you, because there's nothing civil about war. War is bad and it kills people, whatever. Not going to get into details about it. So, the first battle of the War of Northern Aggression happens in Manassas Creek. We know it as the First Battle of Bull Run. Now, the First Battle of Bull Run, the first shot in the First Battle of Bull Run, happens in Manassas, Virginia, in a man's yard named Wilmer McLean's. Now, Wilmer McLean's, he sees this. He swears, I don't want nothing to do with this after the battle. He decides that he's going to move his family and his whole thing, and they're going to move 50 miles south to a place called Appomattox, Virginia. All right? 4 years later.
Do we know what happened in Appomattox?
4 years later, in his front parlor, the surrendering of the Confederate soldiers, or Confederate States of America, by General Lee to Ulysses S. Grant happens in that same man's front parlor. You're talking about some luck going on there. So I dug deeper into it to find out, okay, is this man like someone special? Is he anything? The dude was just a normal, everyday guy. I mean, could you picture going out on your front lawn one day and people are shooting at each other and you're like, the hell with this? You move 50 miles away. 4 years later, you're sitting there and people are like, shooting again. And
It's
then
like,
it's like,
oh no, you and you come here. We're solving this problem right now.
get your butts in this parlor. We're solving this right now. Yeah. So that is some pretty unusual history there. So
does anybody have any questions for us before we wrap this up?
I still have more.
Oh, you got more?
I got more, girl.
Oh, okay.
You don't have any more?
I don't have any more because you said 5.
Oh.
I just picked 5. But you can keep going while they answer
Oh,
give
okay.
us questions.
So, Cinco de Mayo. All right, all us people down here in the South, we're like, hey, Cinco de Mayo, pop the Corona. Oh, yeah, woo, it's the 5th of May, woo. Do you know why it's celebrated?
Mexican independence.
Mexican independence will be a false answer.
Oh, man, is it?
1864.
Then why are we drinking Corona?
1860.
You mean I can drink Shiner on that day?
I ain't drinking no Corona. And it's also the reason
No
I don't...
No Dos Equis either?
No. And actually, I'll tell y'all the reason why I don't chew bubblegum and I don't drink and celebrate Cinco de Mayo. So let's start with Cinco de Mayo.
No chickless?
So here we go. Cinco de Mayo. We're talking about 1864.
What about fajitas? Can we have fajitas?
Oh, every day.
All right.
Every day. So, 1864, outside of Mexico City, the Mexican army finally stops the French. Now, why were the French fighting their way across Mexico at the exact same time that we were having a battle against Northern aggression?
I guess to reclaim territory?
No! To resupply the Southern troops and to set up commerce that they had lost during the blockading of Southern ports. So they thought, and they were trying to resupply us through Mexico, us meaning the Southern states, through Mexico. And so they had felt no opposition all the way up until Mexico City. They had taken over Guatemala, Honduras, Venezuela, Puerto Rico, or not Puerto Rico, wrong country. All the central states and stuff.
Your pen just slipped on
that. It's over there. I felt like I was back in the Spanish-American War. Like, oh no, Texas's border is right over here, not here. So that is the reason that they celebrate Cinco de Mayo. They finally beat the French back and were able to push them back into the lowlands of Guatemala, Venezuela, and slowly push them back. But the French had made agreements with the Southerners that they would come up that direction and to resupply us with supplies that we needed. And so that way, if they were to take over that section, they would be able to push the U.S. Ships and the blockade further out of the Gulf. And once they had control of the Gulf, then everything would have been fine. We would have won the war. Hank Williams would have been on a $100 bill. I assume Hank Williams would have been on a $100 bill.
You think?
Maybe. I don't know. But that is the reason that Cinco de Mayo is celebrated. As also the reason I do not celebrate Cinco de Mayo.
I think Elvis would have been on the $100 bill. What do you think?
So back to my question about chewing gum. Why does Bill don't chew chewing gum?
Because you got bad teeth?
I got bad teeth. I do got bad teeth, but that is not the reason. So we all learned that Santa Anna is captured at the Battle of San Jacinto, correct?
Yeah, I know where you're going with this.
Correct?
Yes.
All right. But did you know that Santa Anna did not die in Mexico City? He actually died in New York City and was not exhumed.
Get a rope!
He was not exhumed and sent to Mexico City until this century, and he was not a war hero to them until this century. So his grave now is in downtown Mexico City, but after the war, after the Texas independence, he went back to Mexico after signing over Texas to the Texans. He was hated, and death threats were so much on him that Andrew Jackson, who ended up funding the war to begin with, which we will get into in detail later on, but him and Houston decided that, hey, what can we do with this guy? We don't want to see him die. They gave him amnesty in New York, set him up in a condo, and he spent the rest of his life there. Now, here's the funny thing. While he was a youngster growing up down in southern Mexico, before he joined the army and stuff, he was introduced to the chiclet tree. And the chiclet tree puts out a gummy substance. So by the time that he is general and president of Mexico, and he's fighting the Texas Rebellion, he would carry this big ball of chiclet gum with him, and he would break off a little piece and he would chew it and stuff. So by the time he makes it up to New York, and he's being put up there in amnesty with New York, other people are like, oh, this is pretty cool. What is this? He actually owns the first patent in the United States for chewing gum, and called chiclet.
I like the green ones.
You like the green ones? They do taste good. I like the white ones.
The white? Oh yeah, the white ones are good.
But that is uncanny history right there.
Yeah, that's pretty cool.
What else do I got for you?
What other good ones you got?
Oh man, I'm pretty sure I missed some here. Actually, no, I covered every one of them that I got.
Okay.
You got anything else? Has anyone got anything that they want to add? I do got still some listeners. If not, we're going to close this out, and we're going to let you know again why we changed our name and what all the information is.
Right.
So, Red, why did we change our name?
Well, we changed our name because we were looking to broaden our horizons and not necessarily ditch Texas history, but we like talking about history in general, you know, like this little show today. And our intentions all along was to create more of a channel where we had different episodes of different things throughout the channel, similar to what you would find on TV, you know, like different shows on the channel. So that's why we changed our name. We changed it to Bill and Red's History.
But we still do Texas Historic Tales,
yes,
which you can find us. We'll be posting our links on this Facebook page,
right,
along with our YouTube channel. We still got our Texas Historic Tales YouTube channel. And
no,
we started...
It's Bill and Red's History.
No, that's here on Facebook.
Yes, but the
on
YouTube channel has been changed as well. And on that, you know, it's Bill and Red's History. And on that page, we will have a folder for, like, Texas history. We'll have a folder for, like, these lives. We'll have our podcast. We're doing Possum Tail Podcast,
that is something
which comes out on Wednesday.
It's available on iTunes, Spotify, and Google something or other. I didn't pay attention to the email. But we are available on a lot of different broadcasts, and the more likes and stuff we get will actually end up on Sirius if we get, I think it's like 30 followers or something along those lines. But that being said, that is the reason we changed the name. It's not because we don't like Texas by any means, but we do enjoy y'all's company, and I do like the turnout tonight. It was pretty good.
Yeah. Thank y'all for coming.
Yep, all that wonderful jazz. For Bill and Red, I'm going to say we're out of here, and thank y'all again for showing up.
Yeah, dinner's getting cold.
Yeah. Well, dinner's always cold for me.
It's time to crack that beer.
Love y'all. Take care, guys.
See you again.